Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wealthy Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Ward Powell. And if you're a dentist looking to crack the code on how to grow your practice and dominate in this space, then stick around. You're in the right place. Every week, we're sitting down with some amazing dentists who are doing incredible things in their businesses. We're talking about everything from how they keep their teams loyal and dedicated to how they stay ahead of the game in this crazy, fast-changing industry. You'll hear about hacks like using virtual assistants to free up your time, strategies to make more sales with less effort, and even mind-blowing stories about patents and inventions that are changing the industry as we know it. And it's not just about growing your practice, it's also about finding out what works from a clinical perspective. Whether you're just starting or you're ready to scale to the next level, there's something here for you. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Anissa Holmes. We're glad to have you here. We want to listen to all the great things that you have available for dentists in the marketing realm. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so tell me, before we go into the marketing piece, tell me what got you interested in dentistry?
Yeah, so interestingly, many of us have our stories, right? And my story initially started off when I was young, going to the pediatrician with my dad and seeing that they were helping people, right?
Mhm.
And so from there, I decided that I was going to become a pediatrician, right? And so as I was going through the journey, middle school, high school, college. I actually did a summer program after my second year of college at UAB in Birmingham. So it was a summer program, and I actually was assigned to the pediatric dental clinic
Mhm.
and spent the summer there observing. And one of the residents came to me, and she was a female, and she said, I know you're thinking about medicine, but perhaps, you might want to consider looking into dentistry. It's a great opportunity to help people and heal people. And also, as a female, could be a good opportunity that through different seasons of your life, you can decide to work a lot or work little or a little bit. You can own your own business, right? You can have many facets of dentistry. And so I actually decided to move into dentistry and went to dental school. Did not become a pediatric dentist, but it certainly was the right decision for me, and it literally has allowed me to do my life's work and passion. And yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. So dentistry wind up being your passion.
of course.
Okay. And then like you pivot a little bit, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Tell me
Yeah.
what sparked that.
Yeah. So taking it back a little bit, around maybe 15 years ago, I actually was invited to a business conference from my business banker at my dental practice. And they reached out and they said, you should go to this thing that we're putting for our clients to learn about growing their businesses. And at that event, they actually, I had no idea, but they had already made an investment in a consultant or a coach that would be doing a group coaching program for those that were interested in applying. And I wound up applying, and I was able to go into that program. I later decided to hire the coach one-on-one. And through that process, I went from, really just trying to figure out how to try to build my business on my own to really understanding the frameworks to growth. And within 2 years, I was able to go from honestly like figuring out how am I going to make things grow, pay myself, to having the ability to build a new office out of profits. I became debt free. We're doing a lot of philanthropy. My team members were thriving, great culture. The community knew that we're there. And so she asked me, I actually got a global award. It was through Action Coach, a global award for finalists for Female Entrepreneur of the Year. And she said, Anissa, what's next for you? Right. And I was like, I'm going to go prep some more crayons. Right. And she's like, honestly, like, I know for you, there's a deeper purpose in your life, right? And so, like, what's your impact going to be? And so I started, actually, I said, I'm going to write a book, right? So I wrote a book, Delivering Well, how dentists can build a fascinating brand and achieve more while working less. And through that process, I started a podcast because I'm like, who's going to know who I am to
Mhm.
read my book, right? So I started a podcast, first female dentist podcaster in the dental industry,
Ooh.
which I'm really proud of. I'm no longer hosting that podcast, but that was kind of the beginning. And from there, people started to hear about what was happening in my practice with marketing and social media. We ended up having 50,000 people following me on social, getting 50 patients a month, spending like $500. And then dentists started to ask me to teach them, which I never intended to, but I winded up teaching Facebook marketing, had the first social media Facebook course in the industry. And then dentists started to ask me to teach them the other aspects. And so that led into me starting a coaching program, consulting program, and coming full circle now, 10 years later, I do still own the coaching company. I've also started Dental Flicks, which is a way that practices can get education and training from all of these incredible speakers and coaches and educators in the dental industry because I've understood the importance of education and how to build software to deliver it. And that's one of my companies. And where I'm spending most of my actual time now is actually running our marketing agency, Digital Floss. And so we're literally now helping practices. And I say this like we help practice owners to get seen, right, as their authentic self so that the people who need to be healed can find them, right, so that they can be healed. And so we literally fly out, we get social media content, we do full distribution on all platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, but also X and LinkedIn. And we're helping practices now in the age of AI to actually get seen in AI search engines like ChatGPT and voice search and Siri. Marketing is changing a lot. And so, for those that have traditionally relied on Google, people are now searching differently. And so I'm creating a lot of awareness now of how to navigate all of the changes that are happening.
That is so awesome. You've been like running like uh 110 miles an hour on a 60 miles an hour lane. It's like you're flying. This is awesome. Just great information. Can you tell us a little bit more about how did you pivot from being such a dedicated dentist to, this ninja marketer?
Well, I think that the truth is that we do go through different seasons of life, right? And so for me, for some people, it's like a season of being in your practice. And then the next season is I'm going to bring in associates and I'm going to grow the company. I'm going to work a little bit less, or I'm going to turn on the gas. I'm going to do more. I'm going to build multiple locations, right? So it doesn't always end up how we started it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so for me, and by the way, I do still own my dental practice and I've got three associates and I have a manager that runs it. Like, but I think what happened for me is that I got to a point and I felt a calling is what happened, right? So I feel that I was called to take the knowledge of what I had learned and to be a guide, if you will, for other people that were looking for a guide to figure out how they could do the same. And so I feel not that I was searching for, but I feel that like from a higher place, maybe I was called. And so I continued to work in my dental practice for about 5 years as I was still, 2 days a week doing the podcast and teaching the Facebook and things like that. And ultimately, I winded up bringing in associates. And so I would work one less day until like 6 years ago, I decided to retire at 20 years of clinical practice. And my practice, as I said, still continues to work, but I feel that I've been called. And the truth is, like when we got on the beginning of this podcast, you're like, you're a busy lady. I'm actually not as busy as people think, because in my view, we never get anywhere by ourselves,
Yes.
right? And if so, the truth is that I have been grateful and fortunate to have built really great teams and have other people that see the vision of what I see, and they are like, I see it, I want to be a part of that, right? Whether it was in my dental practice or in our coaching program. I have Digital Floss, which is my agency that I run now. But Dental Flix, I've got a CEO for that, right? So I'm really more of a visionary.
Yeah.
And then I like to create. I'm a creator. I love to
Yeah.
create things that have never been created. And then
Mhm.
I build teams around me that can help to execute on the vision, right? So, yeah, I think that's kind of how the evolution occurred. And I feel that, again, many people may say, even when I started Dentalflix, which is again online education, a couple $100 a month to be able to get access to phenomenal training on case acceptance and leadership and like marketing and all of things. And there's like an AI coach in there helping practices. Like, when I started that company, there were a couple of people that were like, "Oh, you took my idea, you stole my idea," right? I thought about that 5 years ago, and the reality is like they did nothing with it, right? And so that's not serving anybody. It's not helping anyone to keep our ideas inside of our head. And so what's really cool, like with Dentalflix, is we've got all of these speakers and educators and trainers, and they've got all of these ideas or this knowledge or this expertise. And so now within one platform, they can go in there and they can help, right? Practices that need to grow. And it's really beautiful work, right? That we get to do.
And you have all of these CE classes in
Yeah.
your system. I
Yeah.
mean, how was that challenging to put all of those different types of courses in the system and get them like whatever requirements are made to get them
So I think that
in class?
when we have the mindset that we have to do things on our own, or we've never done it before, oftentimes we look at things and we're like, oh, that's challenging, right? Fortunately for me, and I don't know if it's because I've invested in so many coaches and mentors and guides that have helped me to understand the truth. Okay. And so the truth is that everything is hard until you have a guide. Like I literally just got a trainer to help me because I wanted my dog to be able to go out to the beach with me, or I wanted her to go walk out, in outside with me, or I wanted her to sit next to me when I'm at a coffee shop, right? And I didn't know how to get her to do that. And so I had to hire a dog trainer who essentially actually didn't train my dog. She was my guide to teach me how to train her, right? And
Right,
so, for me, it was like I didn't know how to start a podcast,
right,
right? And so
right,
I went and found a mentor who his whole life's work, at least in that season, was to teach people how to do a podcast, how to choose a microphone, right? How to upload it to Apple. Like I didn't know that, right? And so everything is hard until it's not.
yeah.
And so even with my ideas of dental flakes and the software and the how we were going to deliver the continuing education, because practices get unlimited CE, like I have a who. My who is my developer, right? And so I'm able to go to my developer and say, I've got all of these ideas. This doesn't exist, but it exists in my head. Can we make it a reality?
Yeah.
And he's like, I got you, right? And so all of a sudden he helps to create, but he's the techie, but he may not have the gift. That's his gift. His gift may not be creativity, right? And
Right.
so I bring the creative ideas and he's like, oh, that's a great idea, right? And so the same thing. And how do we get speakers and coaches and consultants? Like, because they have amazing things to teach, but they don't know how to build an educational platform, right? And so we're able to connect and we can say, great, go to Zoom, record a course, or go to Loom, or right, go and record your course and just put it in a Google Drive, right? And we got it from there, right? And then we build teams that can execute so that I can be here on this podcast
Mhm.
and someone else is literally uploading the newest course, right? Or answering customer support. And so it's the same thing that happens at a granular level down in our dental practice. Same thing, many practice owners are trying to order supplies and they're trying to train their team on scheduling and they've never done that before, which doesn't make any sense because how can you train on something that you don't even know how to do, right? And so when we are able to acknowledge that if we already know how to do it, we'd be able to do it already, and then say who can be our guide, whether it's going to be again, I got to freedom with my dog because I hired a trainer. I got to freedom with my dental practice because I hired a guide, right? And so it could be a guide, could be online education as a guide, it could be a person, it could be a who, but that's how we get anything, right? And then we
Right.
have to build teams around us that can help us on execution of our vision.
Mm. Wow. Just packed with all kind of information. So when a person say there's somebody out there that's wanting to do something similar to what you've done, um, and probably not exactly the way you do it again, obviously, but say classes, for example, and they wanted to like do a class for dentists. Do you have any thing that you'd like to share in that respect, regarding the requirements or anything like that that they could follow to get their class out there?
Yeah, so interestingly, we with DentalFlix again, we actually help educators to learn how to get their voice out there to be seen. Like the work that I do, Ward, whether it is the work that I did for 20 years as a practicing dentist, the work that we continue to do in my practice, the work that we're doing with DentalFlix and Digital Floss, my marketing agency, to help doctors become seen as who they authentically are so that they can heal people. Like what I've realized is that my work is very I've realized, and without apologies really right now, is like I've realized that I'm very spiritual, and I realize that I'm here to literally emit love and help people to elevate up so that they too can live in happiness, peace, joy, and abundance and have all the wealth that is actually there for them that they don't even see. I've been told that I'm a seer, which is probably why I see so many ideas. And that's my gift. That was given to me by God through me, that I've never spoken outwardly about until recently. But that's the reason why, for me, like Dental Flix exists because through the platform, we've got courses that are not necessarily visible to on the main platform, but when somebody becomes a creator, they want to create a course. We've got a full dental flicks just for them where they can go in and learn how to build a course, how to record a course, how to get their voice seen,
Mm.
right? How to use AI, how to market their course, right? And so, some people might say, well, oh, you've got something, but you're teaching people how, or you are a coach and you're teaching people who do the same thing because, like, my purpose actually is not about any of that. It's about like helping people to rise up. Um, to step into their full potential. And that's, I think, why I've been given the gifts that I've been given. Um, and because I do believe that we all have the ability to create whatever we want to create. We just have to move above low frequencies of fear and anger and frustration and blame and blaming other people for why we don't have what we want, and moving past caring what people think about us and doing it anyway, and really rising up to doing things to serve people out of love. And when that happens, we realize that we literally have, like, again, the ability to create. We have God within us, and we have all of this incredible abundance, right? So we don't have to live in fear or lack or worry, about other people, because we realize that just like there's an infinite number of apples in the world because the apple comes from the tree, which produces more apples and seeds, there's an abundance of wealth, there's abundance of people, an infinite number of people that we can serve. And when we start looking at life that way, everything completely changes. Yeah.
So when you said infinite number, that goes right into my next question. And that is the infinite number of people that you can serve. So does one have to be a dentist to get involved with dental flicks?
No.
Okay, so uh so anybody from any industry can come in and, or if they're interested, of course, in dentistry,
Of
because you
course.
really
Of
have.
course. So we have, for example, we have courses in dental flicks that are on mindset, right? That are helping people to elevate their mindset, to get over all of the past blockages, right? We have courses on mental health and wellness, right? And people that are teaching that, which is very powerful for doctors and teams. There's mental health issues are the reason why people are living in blame and anger and frustration, like all of those low level frequencies, right? We have people that are their courses on growing your wealth, right? Um, and clearly, those can be non-dentist professionals who have, for whatever reason, decided that they are feeling called and pulled to help dental professionals, right? So, like, we're all the same. We're all just people, and we fit in where we're supposed to fit in, right? So, I would say the answer is yes.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to be great for a lot of people to hear because, I mean, like myself, for example, I love dentists. I'm not a dentist, but I haven't met, like I was saying to one other uh, guest that I had some time back, I haven't met a dentist that I don't like yet. Not saying that that won't happen. It's just that I found that there's a lot of dentists out there that are giving people, you know, uh, great people, and it's a wonderful thing. That's what kind of, like you were mentioning earlier, that you don't know where you want. I mean, you don't know how things are necessarily going to turn out, but you got this idea and you want to go for it. I had no idea that I would be doing a podcast like right now.
Yeah,
I had no idea. So I mean I am totally
you
on
get
board
it.
with your
Yeah.
ideas. Yeah. Yeah. So dental floss. Tell
Digital
us,
floss,
huh?
digital floss, that
It's
marketing
a
agency.
digital floss. So
Mhm.
digital floss and dental flicks are two different companies, obviously.
Yeah.
And are you coaching still?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I am still coaching. I am no longer taking coaching clients.
Okay.
However, I have a cohort of quite a few dentists that have been with me um, prior to me taking full leadership in running the marketing agency, which is where I'm at right now. And I am committed to them all becoming wealthy. Not just rich, like, oh, I'm talking about wealth that will build generational wealth. And so, literally on Friday and Saturday, this is being recorded on a Monday, I had doctors at my home. I had a group a week and a half ago. I have another group, so I'm putting them in small groups, and we go very deep. And we are looking at processes and systems to grow and scale rapidly but without stress by managing, delegating, and elevating their teams and really elevating their mindset to what they actually deserve and who they actually are becoming. And so, those doctors, I've made my commitment to them that I will coach them until they get to that point, or as long as they need me, or when they get to the point where, like, Anissa, I'm actually good. And people graduate our program. That's the whole point. Like, now
Yeah.
that I can train my dog, I can look at my trainer and be like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like you taught me and I've got it now. So I can like literally do it. And I'm like watching her. The last session was like, watch me make sure I got it. She's like, I got it. Right. So we coach dentists who are like, they're doing their own strategy and they're telling me what their plan and their roadmap is. And then I'm like, I think you're good, doc.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So I am still coaching a couple of doctors, which is crazy what's happening for them. It's pretty transformational. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wonderful reflection of a great teacher. You know, when you can teach and leave.
Yeah.
Because you know they're going to take care of
They
themselves.
got it. They got it.
Wow, I mean, wow, this is great stuff. So tell us a little bit more about dental floss.
Yeah. So digital
Digital
floss.
floss, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we are doing with digital floss is we essentially manage, on paper, okay, we manage a practice's full social media, and we also do their AI SEO, which is like SEO, but a higher level because it's getting them into AI search engines. But really, what we do is we are flying out to practices three
Mm,
times a year and
mm,
we're creating incredible content. And so the content is like the doctor's talking about if you've been thinking about an implant, here's what you need to know. And at the end of it, he's saying, you know what, come in and let's talk about it. After we talk about it, then we'll figure it out, right?
mm.
Or, imagine if you built a practice that ask yourself, what if we put the team first?
Yeah.
And the team is coming on talking about, I've never had a doctor like this. Like here it's family, right?
Mm,
And so we're creating phenomenal content about whatever they want to become known for. We're helping them build their brand. And so a brand is what you feel about a company. Again, I watched social media videos of the trainer training dogs that were Velcro dogs or dogs that were pulling or could not be out in public. And all of a sudden, a week later, they're completely transformed. And I'm like, I want this lady knows what she's doing and she's going to train my dog, right? Or he's going to be, when I saw the video of my dentist, he's going to be my dentist. And so we're helping practices with that, which is branding, but at the same time, we are putting marketing on top of it. So we are using ads with geofencing. So it's like when you do mailers and you're like, I want the mailer in this neighborhood, in this neighborhood, in this street, in this street. We can do that with these incredible videos. And so we're able to do geofencing. And so for $100, we can get 10,000 people that are within those streets to see your videos when they open up their Instagram, which is powerful because now we're building brand, but we're making it happen old school word of mouth faster. But we don't just run video ads for views, we actually send them to a funnel or a landing page. And from there, we have a very emotional video again about why you decided to be in that particular community. And the teams having their input in terms of our patients coming in is very powerful. And then we have the ability for people to go and request an appointment. Again, all this process is all automated. And then we're taking the content as well, and we can get about 600 views to that page for, again, $400. And then we now take the content and we also edit it in the correct format and we're posting it on Google My Business, on LinkedIn, on X. We're training AI with it. And so now when people are on Siri, and they're saying, I need a dentist near me, by the way, it doesn't go to Google, it goes to Apple Maps. Or you're going to ChatGPT and you're saying, I'm looking for a dentist in Houston that does all in four, that has high reviews and in this particular neighborhood, and tell me why I should choose them, it's now recommending you as the practice within ChatGPT. And again, when it does that, it doesn't take people to Google. And so Google ads are becoming more expensive because people are using Google, are being taken to Google a lot less. And so what we're doing is like dental school. When you go to dental school as a patient, it's like, oh, you go to a practice and you pay with your money. You come here, you pay with your time, right? And so Google can be paid, for example, with money, or it can be paid with time. And so we're the ones that put in the time to upload the content to Google My Business, so we don't have to pay Google, but we wind up getting the SEO, which means we don't have to pay, and we are able to be recommended, again, connected practices with Apple, Business Connect, and things like that. So we essentially run the entire branding and marketing strategy for practices where they literally have to just show up 3 days a month or 3 days a year, once every 4 months. And for those that are introverted and shy, which many people are, we literally can build a 25 page, we do it for them after a 1 hour call, brand guide, and our video editors can literally feed you or your team line by line with the correct inflections. And then our editors put it all together and you appear that you're completely like confident and everything like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's what we do. And I'm really proud of that
Yeah.
because, this is how I built my practice. This is how I built where my entire community knows that we're there. It's not about discounting. It's about people seeing you and saying, I want to see you. And in terms of like funnels and patient acquisition, I started, as I shared before, teaching Facebook and then teaching funnels and got connected with Russell Brunson with ClickFunnels, and he's one of the top marketers in the world. Ultimately, I winded up being featured in his book, Expert Secrets,
I read that book.
happening in my
Yeah.
practice. I wound up speaking at Funnel Hacking Live, and Russell shares openly that I was the first in the dental industry to understand and to figure out how to use funnels.
Mhm.
And so it's really, again, full circle now that my marketing agency is literally building funnels for practices to take that off of their plate. So that's Digital Floss. And that's, again, one of the company that I'm all in personally with right now running. We've got a team that's working with DentalClicks, and we're really proud of the team. And Sarah, who's the CEO of that company, working with the educators. But yeah, Digital Floss is a very special project for me because we are really helping practices get seen without discounting, and now they can do the work that they truly should be able to do without the discounts and PPOs and like all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, I was like, how is she doing all of this marketing? Where did she learn all of this marketing information? And you said Russell Brunson, yeah, I'm familiar with that guy. He's awesome, like you said.
Yeah, I was with
So
him last week. So at Funnel Hacking Live. But yeah, so yeah, it's been a really beautiful journey. And again, it's just with all of the things that I'm doing is like, how can we help? How
yeah,
can we help? Yeah.
right, exactly. Wow. Yeah, so what else would you like to talk about? Because I'm just full. I mean, to be honest, I am full with what all of this information I'm being, I guess, rather uh, selfish in my thoughts. But help us understand something that we did not cover so far.
Yeah. I honestly I think I'm full too. I think you're right. Um, hopefully this was a helpful podcast, for
Yes,
listeners, and hopefully they've gotten some takeaways, and I would say what's great about a podcast is you can go back and you can listen again.
that's
Every
right.
time you hear it, you'll hear something different, right? And I will say that like a couple of if I were to share like the takeaway points of this podcast is like you are the creator of all things, and anything that you want, you can create. The other lesson is I see is like you don't have to know how to do everything. You just have to find the guide, right? And that guide could be the mentor, it could be the training program, it could be the video, it could be somebody helps you one-on-one, right? Like I've invested a lot in mentors. That's how I know marketing. You don't just wake up knowing this stuff, right? I invested, hundreds of thousands of dollars on my brain, getting curious and working with Russell Brunson. And the beautiful thing is the people that I get to work with in the industry, they don't have to go through all of that, right? They can just, I can give them the shortcut, right? The knowledge, right? So, and it doesn't have to be me, right? So find a mentor, find a coach. And yeah, I mean, the thing is that too, a lot of people, they have a gift and they have everything that they need already within them. They're a dentist and they're like, I already know how to do clear aligners. I already knew how to do airway. I already know how to do X, but people don't know who you are. And so if they don't know who you are, then you can't help them. And there are infinite number of people that you can help. And so again, that's why I'm so passionate about what we're doing with our marketing agency, because for many people, that's the next thing that they really do need to think about and focus on so that they can get seen, so that they can heal all the people that are looking to be healed. So yeah, I mean, thank you again for having me on your podcast. Again, it was wonderful connecting with you, and hopefully it was super beneficial to your audience. And thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, wow. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Doctor. We really appreciate you taking the time and spending with us and sharing all these great nuggets. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The Wealthy Dentist podcast is built on connections, opportunities, and meaningful conversations that help jumpstart careers and boost the ROI on your business. Is there a topic you're passionate about or someone in the dental community who should share their story with us? We want to hear from you. Email your suggestions to the Wealthy Dentist Podcast at gmail.com, and let's create content that informs, inspires, and uplifts the dental world. Your ideas could spark our next big conversation. Let's make it happen. I'm Ward Powell, your host at the Wealthy Dentist Podcast, thanking you for being a part of our journey.